there, my name is Gabriella Lindsay, and I am so excited to be here as a part of Black Women Thriving Abroad representing Mexico. It sounds like if you're here, you are here because you're interested in perhaps moving or relocating abroad, and I'm excited to talk to you a little bit about my family's experience here in Mexico. So thank you so much for joining me. This is my family. We are the Lindsays. I am a mother of 3 small children. They're aged 6, 4, and 3. We sold everything, our cars, our belongings, put our home on the market to move here to Mexico to live a different life. We wanted to live what I like to call a life by design, a life where we get the opportunity to create and to build and to just really thrive as a family. Both my husband and I were working extremely hard to make ends meet, and even then ends were not quite meeting, and we realized we were putting some of our best time into our jobs, and we just really wanted to take a moment and take the opportunity to spend that time with our family and spend the time with our children and really pour into them to be more present parents. And so we decided to take the leap. So we've been here in Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico, ever since October of 2016. And by doing so, both my husband and I are able to build our dream businesses, fulfill our passions, do projects, do activities that we're passionate and excited about. And then we're also able to spend so much more time with our kids. We're doing so much more with less. And as a result, our family is actually saving almost $3,000 per month because of the great cost of living. The current American dollar is very strong here. So with the cost of living and then just minimizing on some of our stuff, we are doing really well, making some definite financial changes in our lives. So lifestyle, as I mentioned, our life is great. We're really enjoying being here. We have a great home. We are about 8 blocks away from the beach, so we chose the beach. But Mexico is very diverse. It's not all beaches. If you want a beach scene, there's definitely that option. If you want a mountain escape, there's definitely that option. If you want something very big and bustling, there's definitely options for you there. And then, of course, if you want rural and quiet and countryside, there's options for that too. The people here, for the most part, are very hardworking. It's a very agriculturally and industry-driven country. Many of the people have jobs, whether it be employed or entrepreneurial ventures. There is a great work-life balance. Every day there is a siesta period. So for a couple of hours in the afternoon, businesses will close or at least slow down or shut down. Families will get together, have a midday meal together. And so there's really great work-life balance there. Since moving here, we are walking so much more. As I mentioned, we sold our cars, so all we are doing is walking, and using public transportation, which has not only been financially beneficial, but it's also been beneficial for our bodies as well. Fresh food is very abundant. There are numerous fresh markets where you can purchase fruits and vegetables, meats, cheeses, etc. For pennies on the dollar. It's like having a virtual Whole Foods right at your fingertips for merely half or less than half the cost. And as I mentioned before, the American dollar currently is very strong. You are currently getting about 18 to 20 pesos per 1 American dollar, which makes the cost of living very reasonable for most American and as well as Canadian families. In terms of entry requirements, you have a choice. You can be a tourist, you can be a resident, or you can be a citizen. Upon entry into Mexico, everyone receives what's called an FMM. It's a 180-day tourist card. This allows you to be in Mexico for 180 days. At the end of 180 days, you are required to exit the country, whether that be going back to the States or going further down to the south, or whether going to another country altogether. But you are allowed re-entry immediately. So all you must do is arrive at the border, turn in your FMM form, exit, and you can come right on back in. So many families, many people who are expats here will do 6-month border runs and renew their FMMs. If you are definitely decided that you want to be here, that Mexico is the place for you, you can always apply for a temporary residency visa, which is good for up to 1 year, and then it is renewable for up to 4 years. So that means you do not have to make those 6-month border runs. That means you can stay in Mexico for up to 4 years, provided that you appear at the offices, the INM offices, and renew your visa simply by paying a yearly fee. In order to apply for a temporary residency visa, however, there are some income requirements, and you do need to do that at the Mexican consulate in the States, outside of Mexico at any rate, in order to be eligible for that. There is also an option for a temporary visa with work approval, which means that you can work in Mexico. Those are typically sponsored by an employer, and they will help you obtain that. After you've had your temporary visa for 4 years, you are eligible to apply for a permanent residency visa, which means that you can then stay in Mexico more or less indefinitely. And then, of course, there are citizenship options. Many people will pick and choose between some. Some people will jump right to citizenship because they'll birth a baby or perhaps marry a Mexican national. But it's all up to you. You are very welcome to be here in Mexico on your FMM, as I mentioned before, for up to 180 days before having to renew that. And many families choose to use that as an option for them. Work, 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 work. Employment here in Mexico. There are jobs available here in Mexico. If you want a job on the ground, you can receive a temporal visa with a work permit. As I mentioned before, those are employee sponsored, so that would require you finding a job, whether it be before coming to Mexico or once you've arrived in Mexico, and having an employer to help sponsor you on a work visa. This is the only legal way to work in Mexico. Much like in the United States, the United States requires certain documentation in order to have a job. It is the same thing here. It must be sponsored by an employer, and that is the only legal way to make money here in Mexico. Many people choose to go into education, and so that's one great way to get a work visa here. A lot of times employers will not employ non-Mexican citizens, non-Mexican nationals, unless there's a specific need that you can fulfill. So education is often one of those areas, whether it be in the elementary schools, the high schools, or the universities. Medical services is also another area that many folks will come to Mexico to gain employment in. Aside from that, if you are residing in Mexico and you have a laptop, we have internet. Lots of areas of Mexico have internet, high-speed internet that works perfectly well to allow you to do remote work, whether that be medical transcription or proofreading and editing services or working for a customer service agent. Many people will come to Mexico and choose to become entrepreneurs. Perhaps they'll open a business, maybe a smoothie shop or a surfing school, whatever it might be, a hotel, a bed and breakfast. You definitely can come to Mexico with the right paperwork and documentation, open your own entrepreneurial venture. And then, of course, you could choose to be like me, a digital nomad. I am an author, a blogger, a vlogger, and a freelance writer. And so all of my work that I do, I can do right from my laptop, right from the comfort of an oceanfront cafe, or from my own house in my pajamas. So there's lots of options here for you in Mexico in terms of employment and making a decent living. Safety. Don't believe the hype. Everyone talks about the cartels and how dangerous Mexico is. I've experienced exactly the opposite. The people that I've encountered here in Mazatlan are very friendly and very helpful. They're always willing to lend a helping hand, especially if you're a mom and you've got kids. Everybody's very family oriented, and when they see that you're having a little bit of a struggle rather than look at you in disdain and be frustrated with you, they're always willing to lend a helping hand. Our local police here in Mazatlan are very hardworking and they're well-meaning. We have cruise ships that come in about 3 times a week, and so when the cruise ships are in, the police force is out standing on the corners, making sure that the tourists are going to the right places. If they have questions, they're there to help, and it just kind of making sure that everybody is safe. And so I enjoy seeing my police force right on my corner every morning when I take my kids to school. As I mentioned before, it is very unlikely that you will encounter cartel violence unless, of course, you get yourself involved in a cartel. And then, well, you know, that comes with the territory, I assume, right? But like I mentioned before, safety, I feel very safe here. You know, of course, you take common sense precautions. I make sure not to be outside too late at night alone. I make sure not to wear extremely flashy jewelry. I make sure not to flash cash around. So some of the same precautions that you would likely take in your hometown, you just have to take here as well. But as I mentioned, I feel very safe, I feel very confident, you know, being out and about by myself or with the husband and kiddos. We feel very safe and welcome. Medical services. There are various medical options here for you in Mexico. The hospitals and clinics are modern, they're clean, and they're safe, and many of the doctors speak English. They've been through extensive schooling, which includes taking English classes. So a lot of times you can walk into a clinic or a doctor's office and find somebody who will be able to speak English with you. There are tons of walk-in clinics, which are amazing because, sometimes, especially if you have kids, they'll catch colds or have little issues, and you don't necessarily want to take them to what would be a traditional emergency room, but you just want a doctor to look at them and perhaps write a prescription for an antibiotic. They're all over the place, the walk-in clinics. I've taken my son, he had a small virus, took him to a walk-in clinic, diagnosed him, wrote him a prescription, and got the prescription from the pharmacy all within about an hour's time and for less than about $15 total. That includes the appointment with the doctor, the walk-in appointment with the doctor, and his prescription. There are some options for health insurance. However, of course, it's always prudent to have health insurance. IMSS is the government-sponsored health insurance that you can become eligible under certain residency options once you become a resident. And you can always supplement that with Seguro Popular, which is a great option for those times when you might be in the hospital. It provides additional support and funds for that. However, there are U.S. carriers that will work here in Mexico as well as travelers insurance. So there are lots of options. If you are employed here in Mexico, typically you will be on an IMSS program. And if you are employed remotely, perhaps your remote U.S. employer will provide insurance that will work here. Just be sure to call and verify. Otherwise, travelers insurance or self-pay insurance options are available to you as well. So thank you so much for sharing. I do want to get social with you, so I've provided some of my links and contacts down at the bottom. I am a blogger, and I blog kind of extensively about our journey here, so you can check out my blog. It's stayatHomeMom.com. And then my family also has a family blog where we chronicle our experiences on YouTube, and that's Gabriella Lindsay. We're on YouTube, so go ahead and check that out. I am once again so excited to have been a part of this presentation. I'm excited to be a part of Black Women Thriving Abroad. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, whether it be on social media or my email address is down there, theslayatHomeMom@gmail.com. You can definitely shoot me an email. I would be more than happy to address any specific questions that you might have. And of course, if you're ever in the area or if you're planning a trip down here to Mazatlan, Sinaloa, Mexico, definitely hit me up. I would love to meet you. I would love to perhaps show you around if possible, and just definitely give you what a taste of really living in Mexico is like. We're really happy to be here. We're enjoying ourselves, and I'm happy that you watched this video and shared a little slice of Mexico with me. Have an amazing day, and I look forward to sharing more with you in the future. Take care.